Thank you very much, Ceann Comhairle, and thank you, Minister, for being here tonight so late at 10 to 12. 3 days' time, Ceann Comhairle, we will mark the fifth month that the government has been formed. And in that time, Minister, I've been engaging with you since your appointment to Cabinet about the incredibly serious problem that we have in the East Cork area around school capacity, which without doubt is one of the worst in the country. There are around 100 children in my constituency that are without a school place once again for the second year in a row. And one of the issues that really rose to prominence when I was first elected to Cork County Council in 2019 was the issue of school capacity, which blew up around this time of last year. I found it extraordinary engaging with parents, with teachers and with students of the upset and the anger that was out there on the ground all around my constituency, but in particular parents living in the Middleton area, parents living in the Carrick-Tuhill area and the very small towns and villages and rural communities that surround that particular region of my constituency. And I do want to acknowledge here, Minister, I know you are familiar with that part of the world from your time as a teacher, and it's highly concerning to me. It was very clear both of us, I think, inherited a degree of a mess in the sense that very little action was taken by the Department of Education under previous governments to foresee this situation that we're now in. And that really has arose, and this is from my discussions with people who are highly experienced educators in my constituency in the areas that are worst affected by the failure to look at data from the Central Statistics Office and instead look at housing data, which was not very reflective of the population statistics in Cork, Ceann Comhairle. Because in Cork we have one of the youngest populations in the country, and in East Cork, where I'm representing, and I'm very proud to represent, has a 10% growth rate in our population in comparison to the 3 to 4% average nationally, which changes obviously with each individual year. And this has caused an enormous problem, which is incredibly stressful for those children, for their teachers and for the schools to be dealing with. And I think what does deserve recognition, Minister, is that those schools have been put into an incredibly difficult position, and there's no doubting that. And they have dealt with that in the most diligent way possible. And on the floor of the Dáil, Ceann Comhairle, I think it's imperative, while I'm raising this topical issue, to acknowledge that work that the principals have done, and to acknowledge the work of the teachers and the schools, their board of managements and their parents' associations all over East Cork. Because there was serious pressure on them to try and accommodate these children. And Minister, I have to be fair, I have worked with you. You have been very diligent in your responses to me so far. But I think at this point, the frustration is boiling over in East Cork. Parents want answers as to where their children can get school places. They're expecting me as their local TD, which I think is only fair, to be able to provide them with answers. And that is why I'm here so late at night with you, Minister, to try and get those answers. And something, Minister, I think would be greatly beneficial in the future is for the Department to look at East Cork, to acknowledge the situation on the ground there, because there is increasing numbers of housing developments that are going to be built throughout East Cork. There's even a new town plant in the East Cork region alone at Waterrock. And the Department need to see this for the emergency that it is. They need to show it with the urgency that it deserves. And Minister, I would like to say to you, here in the Dáil, would you come to East Cork to meet the principals, the Parents' Association's representatives and the board of managements of those schools, so you for yourself can get a better understanding of the situation on the ground.
I'd like to thank the Deputy for raising this issue and giving me the opportunity really to outline to the House the position with regard to school development in East Cork. In order to plan for school provision and analyse the relevant demographic data, my department divides the country into 314 school planning areas and uses a geographical information system. The GIS uses data from a range of sources, including child benefit data from the Department of Employment Affairs and Social Protection and the Department's own school enrolment databases to identify where the pressure for school places across the country will arise. The process has been strengthened this year through 3 specific initiatives: enhanced engagement with local authorities in relation to the information and residential development incorporated in the analysis process. Secondly, additional engagement with patron bodies in relation to their local knowledge and school placement requirements. Education and training boards, diocesan offices and national patron bodies such as Educate Together, An Foras Pótrúnachta, etc. can also be an important source of local knowledge. This will add to the information also provided to the Department by local authorities or individual schools. And thirdly, utilising the information gleaned from schools under the National Inventory of School Capacity completed by individual schools last year as part of the October returns process. Where data indicates that additional provision is required at primary or post-primary level, the delivery of such additional provision is dependent on the particular circumstances of each case and may be provided through either one or a combination of the following: utilising existing unused capacity within a school or schools, extending the capacity of the school or schools, or provision of a new school or schools. Similar to the process adopted for September 2020 readiness, the Department will be engaging further with patron bodies in the coming weeks in advancing of identifying specific September 2021 capacity pressure point priorities which will necessitate specific action. In a normal year, addressing the increased demands for school places, whilst challenging, is manageable, generally through utilisation of existing spare capacity within schools, rental, temporary accommodation or other short-term measures pending the delivery of permanent accommodation. Building projects are in train or proposed for a number of post-primary schools in Cork East area, which is your specific area of interest, as follows. Carricktool Community College is a co-educational post-primary school established in 2016. It is currently located in temporary accommodation pending the construction of a permanent school building. The new school building will have capacity for 1,000 pupils and is currently at stage 2B of the architectural planning process, and planning permission is being granted. Pending the construction of the permanent building, the Department has approved additional temporary accommodation to cater for the school's immediate needs. This project is part of a new 3-school campus development in Carricktool. The other 2 schools to be located on the campus are Scoilcleana, Carricktool and Scoilmhuirenefa, Carricktool. St Aloysius College, Carricktool is an all-girls post-primary school with an enrolment of 776 for the 2019-2020 school year. The Department has approved grant to the school to facilitate its expansion to cater for 1,000 pupils. The project has been developed to the school authority for delivery. St Coleman's Community College, Middleton is a co-educational post-primary school with an enrolment of 775 pupils for the 2019-2020 school year. A building project for that school will provide capacity for 1,000 pupils. It's currently on site and is due to be completed in the coming weeks. Pobal Scoilna Trinoide Youghal is a co-educational post-primary school with an enrolment of 977 pupils for the 2019-2020 school year. The Department has approved a grant to the school to facilitate its expansion to cater for 1,200 pupils. The project has been devolved to the school authority for delivery. Carricknafoy Community College Cove is a co-educational post-primary school with an enrolment of 321 pupils for the 2019-2020 school year. A building project to expand the school's capacity to cater for 600 pupils is at an early stage of the architectural planning process. The project is being delivered by the patron Cork ETB. Coláiste Cove is a co-educational school which had an enrolment of 666 pupils for the 2019-2020 school year. An application for additional accommodation has been received from the school and is currently under assessment in the Department. A decision on the application will be conveyed to the school authority when the assessment process is completed. St Mary's High School Middleton is an all-girls post-primary school with an enrolment of 718 pupils for the 2019-2020 school year. An application for additional accommodation has been received by the Department and is currently under assessment. A decision on the application will be conveyed to the school authority when the assessment process has been completed.
Thank you, Minister. We'll have to stop you there because the balance of the reply can be included in the official record. Deputy O'Connor.
And the first project there that you've referenced, Minister, and I thank you for referencing it, was around the school complex in Carricktool. I've had a lot of engagement there with the Parents Association. As you know, it has been an incredibly arduous and long process that has been unfortunately plagued by numerous issues over a long number of years now. And in terms of that situation, Minister, I would like to hear if there was any update available further to what you've outlined to me previous, and once again just to reiterate to see if you may be in a position to travel to the Cork East constituency in the near future to discuss this particular matter with representatives of the school and the principal, the Board of Management and Parents Association. I think that move would be greatly appreciated. I think it is needed. And I think, from my perspective as a local TD, I would be absolutely indebted to you if we were able to fulfil such a commitment. Minister, I also want to say as well, in terms of the Educate Together patronage, I'm glad to hear that you're referencing them as well. There's a lot of work going on with the Educate Together group in Middleton around establishing the possibility for an additional secondary school, which there is demand for. And demand really is why we're in the situation that we're in. There's, quite frankly, too few school places available in East Cork. And I think we have to bite the bullet as a government to actually acknowledge that problem and put coherent steps in place to try and deal with it over the next number of years. People accept this won't be fixed overnight. The parents and students, teachers accept that. But what we have to be able to go back and to say to them is that we do have a plan. I'm glad to see that you've outlined multiple different school projects here throughout Cork, or East Cork, including in Middleton, in Youghal and Carrigtwohill. But I do think we need to show a degree of ambition as well, in addition to what you've outlined here, to actually accept that we need an additional school, and also to ensure that the staff, the teachers and future pupils and current students at the Carrigtwohill Community College and the primary schools that will be coming along with that development will make sure that the Department of Education will get that project to fruition after the wait that they've had. It's been an absolutely horrendously difficult thing, and I'll conclude in this Ceann Comhairle, a difficult experience for so many people in that community. And as a local TD in that area, I would be very, very grateful if that could be given urgent intervention by the Department.
Just in relation to, as I previously outlined, there's considerable development in the Cork East area, but in relation to the primary schools in the area, if I could just continue with Scoilcleena Carrigtwohill, a co-educational community national school building project to provide permanent accommodation for the school is currently at stage 2B of the architectural planning process. The building project, when completed, will provide capacity for 24 classrooms. Scoilmhuire Carrigtwohill is a co-educational primary school. A building project for the school is currently at stage 2B of the architectural planning process, and the building project, when completed, will provide capacity for 24 classrooms. And Scoilmhuire Carrigtwohill is a co-educational primary school. An extension of the school to provide capacity for a 16 classroom school is proposed. The project is currently at the preparation of the accommodation brief stage. Scoil an Tathair Thai Carrignavar is a co-educational primary school. A major building project to provide a new 16 classroom school is currently at stage 2B of the architectural planning process. It is also, of course, open to the patrons of schools to submit an application for additional interim accommodation to the Department for consideration should it be required. I specifically do want to thank you, Deputy, for raising the issue of accommodation in East Cork. The Department is concerned to ensure that sufficient capacity is in place to meet the needs of schools throughout this area through the delivery of the building projects that are planned or those that are in train, as well as through the Department's engagement with patron bodies in identifying specific capacity pressure priorities for September 2021, which will necessitate specific action. In relation to the Carrigtwohill issue, as you've raised, you're aware that's part of the bundle for the first quarter of 2021 and will be expedited as quickly as possible. I will, of course, Deputy, continue to work with you on an ongoing basis. I know all of these particular projects are of particular interest to you, and I commend you for your diligence and your ongoing interest in delivering these projects for the East Cork area. Thank you.